All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Sovereign Sphere podcast. I have with me today Christopher Wedick. Welcome back.
Excellent. So great to be here. And thank you again for having me back.
So good to see you again. What have you been up to? Last time I saw you, you were in Canada with me in Victoria at the We Unify event, and then you jumped ship. You left Canada. What happened?
Yeah, I defected from Canada. I apologize, but that's very Canadian of me. No, I did shift to El Salvador, and it's been one of the best decisions of my life. I got married over the weekend. Baby number one is on the way, and it's been a complete shift. I strongly feel El Salvador is the land of milk and honey.
Hmm. We traveled there a couple years ago. We went there for a surf trip. It was beautiful. And before we went to El Salvador, I was hearing a bunch of rumblings about the country because I had never been there before. We didn't research really anything about it. We just kind of booked flights and went, which is kind of our style. We're like, we'll figure it out when we get there. And people were commenting, "Oh, is it safe there?" And since then, obviously, a lot has come out in the media actually about El Salvador being one of the safest places now. It wasn't safe in the past, but they've done a massive cleanup mission. Can you tell us a little bit about El Salvador's past and really why like the government's taken control of this country and brought it back to a place that tourists want to go to, a place that's actually safe?
For sure. It's actually so incredible to watch. Tourism in the country has increased 200% over the past year. El Salvador had a major cleanup. They managed to round up all the gang members and put them in the Sikot prison, over 80,000 gangsters. So now El Salvador is proud to announce that it's the safest country in the Western Hemisphere, safer than Canada. I've been here for the past year, and it's way safer than anything I experienced in Canada. I was living in Victoria, spent lots of time in Vancouver, spent a ton of time in Calgary, and it's it's quite a lot to experience a third world country being safer than a first world country. I felt less safe in those three cities in Canada than here. Here is phenomenal. I haven't felt threatened once. I've never sensed any form of danger the entire time I've been here. People are very genuine and authentic, and the country is on the up and up. I'm super hopeful for El Salvador's future.
Yeah, I heard that they went from like 147 murders a day to like one every few weeks, like pretty standard for like any other country. Like that's a huge transition. And of course,
Yeah.
Canadians and people in Western countries were mad about this like mass roundup of criminals saying that's not fair. The poor criminals, like let them out. And I can understand like pragmatically, like there was such a sweep. Are there people there that maybe shouldn't be there? Because it wasn't just the criminals, it was like girlfriends of like gang members and like they really cleaned house. But talking to locals there when we were there, I didn't find a local person in El Salvador who had a problem with it because it was locals and tourists alike that were getting shaken down, and now everyone was free to prosper again. It was tourists could come back, and local people were also safe. It doesn't seem like El Salvadorians are worried about this policy. What do you get when you talk to people about
Hmm.
about the justice system there?
No, that's a phenomenal question. When I talk to a lot of the locals, they're super grateful for the country's current position
Mhm.
and the safety they get to experience now. A lot of people don't realize the true violence and instability the country has experienced for many decades, decades of communism to decades of gang violence to now unbelievable safety. And it's a complete shift. People are hopeful, they are happy, they are authentic, they are like, I've never experienced anything quite like it. Service, for example, is just so authentic. People here say "a la orden" or "bon provecho," and people say hi in the street. Even people that drive by you say hi to you. It's very incredible to watch how beautifully this country has been liberated.
I have two funny examples for you from that trip. One is tiny. My daughter left her AirPods like somewhere on like beach chair somewhere where we were staying. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, honey. Like that's gone for sure. Like we're in the third world. That's such like an easy thing to find and just snatch. Like it's gone. You're never getting it back.
Hmm.
And ended up one of the maids at the places that we were staying at like had it, brought it to the front, no problem. Kids got like their AirPods back. Like that doesn't happen traveling ever, like in any other country. And the other thing was our rental car. My husband Dan did not want to go all the way to the rental car depot, and we got off the airplane. It was late, and there was a guy in the parking lot with like his little business card that said like he has car rentals. And Dan ended up getting a car rental from him, but he's like, I don't have any I can't remember if he had any if he gave him any money, but he definitely didn't give him like a driver's license or any way of like being able to find him or locate him. And the guy was like, "No, no, no, this is like a really good deal for a car. Like don't worry, I trust you." And Dan's like, well, okay, well, the flight that we're leaving on, it's at this date and this time. And the guy's like, okay, cool. I'll just meet you here in the parking lot that day and that time. We got, so we get this rental car. He has no information on like my husband at all, no driver's license, no nothing. We drive it back as we're about to fly back to Canada. The guy's there. We just like give him the car back. We pay him the money and like a transaction.
No, it's so much more laid back than a lot of the bureaucracy and the roadblocks that Canadians would experience in Canada.
Yeah.
Like driving here, for example, you don't really ever have to worry about the speed limit. You know, if you get pulled over, all you have to do is show them your $100 bill license, and they're good to go. And it's incredible. I genuinely am so fond of this country because back in Canada, you know, going downtown, you get a ticket
Hmm.
for just parking
Yeah.
and being a few minutes over time, or just a few miles over the speed limit, you get a ticket. Here, I've never experienced any of that, and I do have a heavy foot, so it's really it's been a full sort of reset and relief
Hmm.
for me. Yeah.
I should go back a little bit for our listeners. I skipped this part. You've been on the show before, but for the listeners who maybe didn't listen to that episode, give us a little bit of your backstory. What is it that you do? Yeah, just what's the backstory on Chris? What do you do for work? What brought you to El Salvador? Let's do like little mini bio here for the listeners.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Christopher Wedick, and I lead MindShift Studios. MindShift Studios is Canada's leading digital marketing agency, helping freedom organizations and freedom fighters spread their message. We work with clients like Tamara Leach, Pastor Artur Pawlowski, John Carpe and the JCCF, Viva Frey, We Unify Canada, the Alberta Prosperity Project, and dozens of other clients to really help arm them with the right tools to spread their message and help them monetize their audiences. It's a tricky time in Canada, but the freedom movement is gaining a lot of momentum. There's a lot of hope, and the right people are working together to really keep holding government accountable and keep spreading the message of freedom, truth, and hope.
Amazing. How are you helping a lot of these people monetize their presence? Like I'm thinking of people like, you know, Tamara. She's traveling
Mm.
around, she's doing some speaking engagements. You know, how do you help people like Tamara?
For example, we did a 10 seconds for freedom ice dip challenge with Tamara Leach,
Mhm.
with the goal of directing traffic towards her site for book purchases, her latest novel. And so that'd be one of the ways, through social media campaigns, through email marketing, through paid ads, through building their personal brand, through helping them with their social media management. There's and their strategy. It really comes down to strategy with what's been going on in Canada. A lot of people are quite distracted and don't realize that it takes money to really keep the various ships afloat. And so by helping land the plane for our clients, we help them focus on where they need to focus to help generate that abundance to stay sustainable so that they can keep pushing forward with their mission, their vision, and their message. And so that's been it's been a lot of freedom organizations and freedom fighters have come to us to help them with this, because most of these organizations and freedom fighters are very mission focused, but they forget that in order for them to stay sustainable, they need the money coming in the door. And so one thing we noticed as soon as the freedom convoy occurred and then mandates were dropped and they kind of eased off the gas with their agenda, money wasn't coming in the door anymore for a lot of these organizations. And so that's where we came in and really tried to do our very best to help.
Where are most of these creators getting lost? Because I know a lot of like some of the people that you've mentioned, they've built up big followings, for example, from like press, and they're
Mhm.
passionate about standing up against different causes.
Yes.
Where are a lot of these people getting stuck?
Yeah, that's a really great question. One of the main areas they're getting stuck is that they have nothing to sell. And they're very lenient with the pricing of their memberships. So, for example, we came in with the Alberta Prosperity Project to help sort of restructure their approach. We came up with the Pledge 5 campaign, where it's you pledge $5 a month, reoccurring. So that brings in reoccurring revenue in the door so that they can continue to allot resources towards the various initiatives they need to spread awareness about Alberta independence, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Other clients coming up with ideas for products they could sell, like coffee, merchandise, and whatnot, allows them to monetize their audience because now they have something to sell to their audience. But most of these creators weren't focusing on products to sell to their audience because a lot of them are very genuine and really focus on the mission, and it's not about making money. But then once it comes time to really needing that energy in the door, that's where we can help support them.
Yeah. With conversations with a lot of the people, they're scared that they're going to be called grifters. Like it's scary to them to then go and sell things. I have been called a grifter because I also have always had a business, but because I also have a business, that's always, I've heard those comments against myself as well. Do you find that that's a common theme with a lot of these like freedom fighters? They're like, I don't want to sell anything, but also I have to because there's no
Mhm.
money coming in to turn the lights on. Do you find that that's pretty common?
Yeah, so I've heard that a lot from most of our clients. But what I say to them is you have to stay sustainable,
Hmm.
and that involves bringing money in the door. And no matter what people say, they're entitled to their own opinion.
Hmm.
But a lot of people's biases and perspectives come into the door, and they tend to forget the greater mission. And so no matter what people say, you still have to be sustainable. And that, would you rather put your money towards big tech, big business like Amazon, Walmart, or would you rather buy coffee from Viva Frey
Hmm.
or from the JCCF or buy merchandise from the APP?
Hmm.
You can get your clothes from Walmart or you can get it from the APP.
Hmm.
And so this is where it's really about where we spend our money too. A lot of people don't realize that they have the power themselves to choose where they spend their money.
Hmm.
And so when that energy goes towards, hardworking, patriotic, Christian valued Canadian freedom fighters, that means a lot to them. And that makes a heck of a difference. And it's money towards the mission,
Hmm.
which is really to save Canada.
Hmm. It's funny. I always say to clients, people might not want to sell, but they forget that people love to buy. I love to buy things. I buy things all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Sarah Swain ran a business conference every year, and all of the businesses that would participate in the market, she'd have like a little market at this event. They were all on the same page, and that market sold like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of goods in these couple of days because everyone wanted to support freedom-minded businesses and people on the same page. Like, open up the doors. People do want to buy things. They do want to support you. Do whatever you can.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really about coming up with those ideas. And with a lot of people in general, there's decision overload. They don't know what to settle on.
Mhm.
And so this is where we help them find and discover that clarity.
Amazing. How long ago did you start MindShift? Was this pre-pandemic or did you do this after?
No, so this was kind of mid-pandemic, but I started out as the communications director for We Unify Canada. Then I helped focus on partnerships, sort of building bridges with a lot of well-known freedom fighters to help garner their support and get them involved with the We Unify community, have them speak at events and the conferences, the Reclaiming Canada conference. And so I was their first communications director. I built up their digital presence. And from there, yeah, focused on partnerships. And so that was really incredible. It helped open my eyes to the truth about what's going on and helped me awaken. From there, I sold my shares sold my shares of my business, Modern Edge Industries, to my business partners. I had two other business partners. We were doing phenomenally well. But then I realized that no matter how much money I'm making right now, this mission is so important. And so that allowed me to really ponder and come up with the idea of MindShift Studios, which is basically a counter propaganda agency. We're in a propaganda war. And so the only way to combat propaganda is with counter propaganda. And for us, that's really the truth. And the truth is being suppressed left, right, and center, from big tech to big business to big government, because they have an agenda to consolidate control. And so that really inspired MindShift Studios to really help people mindshift, to help them awaken, to help them become more enlightened, so that we can then align values and figure out ways to take action and keep government accountable, to help eventually shift policy and get the country back on track. So that was kind of the mission. And so that led me to working with some of the most incredible individuals in Canada, like yourself, Karla. Like you're a client, and we're so grateful for your support with our business. And we were so grateful to work with you. And so it's amazing. We're building our vibe tribe. That's what I like to call it. Shift the vibe, build the tribe. And so the right stakeholders are coming together, and a lot of really good people are doing their very best to really help reclaim Canada.
I mean, I have to work with values aligned people. If I'm like looking to hire someone and I see like pronouns in the bio, I'm like, I'm out. This is not going to
Oh,
work.
yeah.
Now,
Because
when,
those people naturally divide. So,
yes,
yeah.
100%. When we first met, you were living in Florida. Now, a lot of people think that
Mhm.
Florida is the land of the free. What made you shift from Florida over to El Salvador?
Yeah, so that's a really excellent question. Stem from my perspective on how polarized the United States is becoming. It's also very polarized,
Mhm.
but a lot of people on the conservative right-leaning front tend to not want to be outspoken. So it really leads to a sort of a less polarized sort of dynamic in society. Whereas in America, a lot of conservative, right leaning individuals are more outspoken.
Mhm.
So that's leading to a greater sort of polarized dynamic in the US. And so when I was down there, I loved it. It was incredible. And it was great to meet like minded people there. But I realized there wasn't as many as I thought.
Mm.
And the country was way more polarized than I realized, even in the state of Florida. And Florida is the most right leaning conservative part of the country next to Texas
Mhm.
and other more Republican states. And so from there, I'm like, do I want to stay in this country, or do I want to come to a country that has a sort of a religious foundation? El Salvador is a Catholic country. Do you want to come to a country that's more of a cash based system as well as recognizes crypto? El Salvador is the first country to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender? Do I want to come to a country where women have more traditional values, family values, where I could actually see myself having a family? Do I want to come to a country where that's open for business, that wants to see young entrepreneurs and businesses succeed and grow? El Salvador is open for business. And so I came to the conclusion that I wanted to shift, but I didn't really know where to. So I was on the way to Paraguay, which is also another great country. During the pandemic, it was one of the only countries in the world that had a food surplus and an energy surplus during the pandemic. They were literally giving away steaks. Also, if you want to get temporary residency in Paraguay, you'll only have to stay there 1 day a year, and everything you make outside of the country is tax-free. It's similar in El Salvador, but you have to stay here for a minimum of 8 months a year. And so I came to El Salvador for a month on my way to Paraguay, and I fell in love with the country, and so I've been here ever since. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, you said it wasn't politically polarized. I don't, I can't remember hearing like a political conversation unless I was talking to an American while I was there. Do people talk politics there? Is it a thing?
No, there's a common underlying theme within society here in El Salvador where you don't talk about three things, especially around the dinner table. One is soccer, two is politics, and three is religion.
Hmm.
And so that really helps a lot of them solve a lot of the potentialities for problems within the family and community dynamic.
I mean, maybe that's what it used to be like in Canada.
Yeah,
We didn't really talk about these things. I know I didn't used to talk about these things.
no, yeah.
Interesting.
But I like the saying, if you don't take into account politics, one day it'll take you into account. And so I think it's really important for individuals in society to be politically engaged because if they don't, this is what happens.
Hmm. I mean, obviously they are politically engaged because they
Yeah.
got someone new in power that, I've seen interviews by him where he says that he prays about his decisions before he makes it. So obviously he's very faith led and he was a huge change from the previous administration. So obviously the people did participate in a way that they needed to create change in their country. They just don't talk about it around the dinner table.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No, Naib's done an incredible job to get this country back on track. And this is now a hub for investment, hub for business, and a hub for freedom.
From like a business owner perspective, what was that like setting up shop there? Were there incentives to move your business over there? Are you still operating out of Canada or the United States? Like how did that work?
Yeah. So MindShift Studios is a Florida based LLC.
Hmm.
And so we operate through the United States.
Okay.
And so one of the other businesses we're working on is called shifttoelsalvador.com,
Hmm.
which will probably make a Salvadorian company, but it'll be designed specifically to help Canadians and Americans shift to El Salvador and help them set up shop here. We've come up with a 3-step plan, which is number one, get out.
Hmm.
Number two, which involves getting your money out and getting out of the country. Number two, get in. So residency and whatnot, getting set up, finding a home, and then get set up. And so that involves, potentially building, setting up bank accounts, finalizing residency, whatnot. So we want to help Canadians through that process.
I think it's going to blow up. When we looked at land there, you could get like ocean view land for next to nothing. And it's very reminiscent of when we were traveling in Costa Rica and Nicaragua 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And property like right on the ocean was peanuts. And when we were traveling and surfing there, it was just such incredible terrain, incredible surf. And I remember saying to Dan, like, it's not going to be very long before people figure out that this is like the next place and land is going to skyrocket for sure.
Exactly. And if anyone has questions about El Salvador, they can email me at chris@mindshiftstudios.com.
Okay.
I'd be happy to answer questions and help people commence that shift.
Yeah. Why should Canadians think about relocating to El Salvador?
That's an excellent question. The issue Canadians are facing, and I want to stay positive, is that the country itself has been subverted.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's collapsing from within so that a new system can be implemented, something similar to the likings of China with a social credit system. And so the beauty about El Salvador is that it's a cash-based system. It's a very faith-driven country with family values. Land is cheap. The country's hopeful. People are authentic and genuine. There's a lot of positives here. Whereas any discussions I have with friends from Canada, it's not the same. And so for me, it's been a full 180 shift from this sort of low, depressed sort of mindset in Canada to now a hopeful, positive, loving mindset where now I can build a family. I got married on the weekend. Now I can have a child and raise it in a country where I'm not worried about indoctrination and the various agendas targeting children. So there's a lot of pluses here. And this is why I encourage Canadians to get out, because the only way they'll be able to shift what's happening to them is by leaving the fishbowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my kids are 13 and 16 now, and I don't really know what their future looks like in Canada. Like, we're already kind of grooming them. That's a bad word, but inspiring them to take over our construction company, even though that's not really every little girl's dream. But we're like, you have to know how to make an exceptional amount of money. And going to university, probably not your pathway to making money. Like, you need millions now in order to like have basic things in Canada, like a home, with the average price of a house being $750,000. That's insane. Like, getting a good job, like a nurse or a teacher, not going to cut it. So I've had this thought a lot about like where could we relocate as adults? Like, Dan and I don't have to worry about these things, but the kids, like, we lived in Nicaragua for 6 months, but I don't really see a lot of opportunity yet in Nicaragua in terms of like infrastructure and jobs. The people that I know that live there, they're all property managers, basically. That's like the one job that's worked out for them. Costa Rica, on the other hand, Costa Rica is very, very expensive to move to. It's the same prices as like living in Whistler, BC, but tons of infrastructure, tons of jobs, tons of opportunity. What's El Salvador like for young people now, and economic opportunity and jobs? Is it somewhere in the middle between like Nicaragua and Costa Rica? What's it like there for infrastructure?
Yeah, no, that's a phenomenal question. Infrastructure is growing rapidly in the country, but opportunities when it comes to work and labor is really tricky here,
Mm-hmm.
especially for expats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to make it work because I have a digital business that gives me the freedom to work remote.
Mm-hmm.
Most expats that come here have to leave and go back to the United States because they don't have the opportunities here to really generate a good living. So El Salvador kind of filters out a lot of people that wouldn't be able to sustain themselves here. So that's one of the issues I think a lot of young people here are facing that are from foreign countries that think similarly, that chose to leave their Western nation to chase freedom, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's tricky. The minimum wage here is $360 a month. And so that may inspire people who do want to shift here to realize that the opportunity to build a business and hire cheap labor is much more feasible than in Canada, where most people want 3 to 5K a month.
Yeah, I can't hire anybody for $300 a month here.
No,
No, that's not a thing.
no, exactly.
Well, you do have an opportunity right now. You guys are organizing a big event here in El Salvador, the Reclaiming Health and Longevity Symposium. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yes, for sure. So one of my brainchilds was to organize a conference similar to the Reclaiming Canada conference here in El Salvador. And so Dr. Kenneth Fernandez Taylor and I mapped out putting that on. And so we're putting on the Reclaiming Health and Longevity Symposium here in El Salvador, and it'll be the largest wellness conference in the country. We're getting buy-in from a lot of incredible speakers like Dr. Peter McCullough, Max Kaiser, Dr. Orlando Silva, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, Dr. Stephen Malthouse, Dr. William Mackis, and many, many other incredible speakers to come to build community around decentralized wealth and decentralized health. What I realized was that the key to living a free and sovereign life is by being financially free and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where the orange pill and the red pill come into play. And so in the West, the medical system is designed to really keep us sick and suppressed. And so it's through holistic health that we're able to liberate ourselves and alternative medicine. And so that's where we really needed to merge the two. Because one thing I noticed was that a lot of outspoken doctors in Canada didn't have the financial support they needed to really spread their message.
Mm-hmm.
So by merging the two communities, Bitcoin and health, we're able to then spark a movement that will be able to help thousands and thousands of people reclaim their health. And so that's really the inspiration behind the conference, to inspire people, help them heal, provide them with attainable solutions to do so, natural solutions to do so, and really build community around like-minded people with aligned values.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to touch on other topics like education and homeschooling, figuring out alternative solutions for children to be educated, not indoctrinated, and many other incredible ideas that are going to be discussed at the conference. So it's going to be an incredible format for people to really connect with like-minded people. I know people are hungry for that in the West. People in
Mm-hmm.
Canada, in America, in the UK, in Germany, they want to connect with like-minded people, but it's so tough because they're in a fishbowl that's been poisoned, and people like them have been isolated by design. And so coming to El Salvador is really a great opportunity for people to really reclaim their health, reclaim their humanity, and become inspired again, regain hope. There is hope. And so that's why we're doing this.
Hmm. Now, I knew that El Salvador was this Bitcoin mecca. I remember going to a little side of the road shack. It had just like a dirt floor, chickens running through it, and then they bring out the console to accept Bitcoin from us if we want to pay that way. And I was like, "What? You guys take Bitcoin? Like you don't even have a floor or windows." And it blew my mind, like the technology at even like that level. So I knew that about El Salvador. What's unique about like sovereign health systems with El Salvador?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. And just touching on that before, El Salvador is also the savior when translated. When it comes to sovereign health systems, there's a huge community of Jack Cruz supporters here, who are incredible. And that's actually, I think, one of the keys to health is really community. Community that's awakened, that's enlightened, that's aware, and that has the tools and the solutions to help people heal. And so there's many incredible doctors, organizations here, and people just passionate about helping people heal that allows for that space and that container to operate. Whereas with free healthcare in Canada, I think a lot of people have been deceived.
Mm-hmm.
People should always question anything that's given for free.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where there is a great community and space here for people to do so. And I think that's what leads to that form of healthcare.
What's Dr. Cruz known for listeners that maybe don't know who that is, and what are his ties to El Salvador?
Yeah, for sure. So Dr. Cruz is based here in El Salvador. He also spends a bunch of time in Florida. And he focuses on sunlight and light sort of therapy. He really emphasizes the importance of wearing blue blocker glasses because one of the things really impacting people are these cell phones. The blue light from these cell phones affects our mitochondria, which then leads to us shifting our state. There's a lot of research that's been conducted that it can shift your sexual orientation.
Whoa.
It can lead to a variety of other issues. And so he really emphasizes the usage of blue blocker glasses. as well as sunlight therapy, going out in the sun daily. And El Salvador is a great space for people to do that. In Canada, it's tricky some days. You're not able to go out and feel the warmth of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
But here, year round, the weather is amazing. It rains sometimes in the evenings, but year round, the weather is phenomenal. So El Salvador is really a great space for people to really connect with the sun again.
Yeah. So quantum medicine. Yeah, I've had some clients in that space, and it's really cool. My one client in particular, she started off as a regular doctor and then eventually started studying more functional medicine. So naturopathic medicine, vitamin supplementation, different kinds of like high level testing. And then eventually she went to quantum medicine, which is like water, light, some very like local food, very, very basic things. And she said it's amazing that most of people's health problems can be corrected with addressing these very, very simple lifestyle factors. And then if we can't fix everything, the last little bit we'll go and address with functional medicine. And if there's anything left over from that, then I go to a drug or a prescription. But she's like, most issues are fixed with sun, water, food. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. We want the purest of everything: the purest air, the purest water, the purest sunlight,
Yeah.
purest connection to Mother Nature. Just grounding on
Mm-hmm.
the grass reduces inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies are designed to walk on the surface of the planet.
Yes.
And with rubber soled shoes, that inhibits sort of the current of energy to flow with Earth. And so there's a more holistic, natural sort of way of life here
Mm-hmm.
that's more in tune with who we are, human beings. And so that's another bonus about
Amazing.
living here. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to go back. Chris, is there anything else that you want people to know about this event coming up? When is it happening?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. The event is happening November 11th and 12th here in El Salvador, San Salvador, the capital city. It'll be happening at Salamanca Eventos, one of the best event venues in the country. Adopting Bitcoin will also be hosting their major event here at the same venue on the 14th and 15th. We will also be hosting a elevating consciousness experience retreat with incredible doctors. That'll be from the 13th to the 14th. There'll be an overnight retreat in one of El Salvador's amazing hotel locations, Casa 1800 Lake Coatepec. We'll also be having a Bitcoin Whale Mastermind in partnership with Adopting Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
which will have some incredible people, investors, Bitcoiners, and a special guest. We'll be announcing him very soon. And it'll be at another incredible location, sort of the crown jewel of the Casa 1800 chain, which is Casa 1800 Cerro Verde. And so it'll be a week filled with events and festivities and like-minded people. And so we're really stoked to be a part of this movement, a part of this wave, building community. And we hope you can come join us.
I'll be there. I need some sun. It's raining and gray actually right now. I'm ready for
Yeah.
it. Awesome, Chris. Where can people find you?
Some people probably already know me from the Shift the World podcast with MindShift Studios. If you'd like to get in touch, the best way is through email at chris@mindshiftstudios.com. You can also follow me on social media at Shift with Chris. And if you want to potentially work with MindShift Studios, you can find us at mindshiftstudios.com. And when it comes to the event, please visit us at the website, which is reclaiminghealth.life. You can buy your tickets there to either of the two retreats or the symposium itself. And follow us on social media at Reclaiming Health SV. And so we're really excited for you guys to come down, and Karla's going to join us. She'll be our event MC. So we're really stoked about that.
I can't wait.
And anyone really thinking about wanting a little reset, wanting a little refresh, and wanting to reconnect with who they are, El Salvador is the spot.
Sounds like a great excuse for a vacation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome, Chris. Thank you for joining me today. And guys, I'll make sure that I link everything up in the show notes for you. Go and click the link, snoop around. And Chris, we'll have to have you back here for another talk here soon.
Thank you so much, Karla. God bless you. And I really appreciate today's podcast. This was phenomenal. So thank you.
Anytime.